Hi everyone, Emery Parsons here. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to set up your first FBA shipment. We're going to go through the step-by-step process for doing LTL shipments. Okay, so first we're just going to quickly talk about like what you need to get started, things you might want to do before you actually, start sending in shipments. There's going to be a couple different things throughout the shipment workflow in Amazon that you'll need to print for your labels. So we just suggest ordering these print and peel labels ahead of time. So you'll need labels for your master case and pallet labels, and this is the size you're going to want to get right here that I just highlighted. And then you're going to want packs of stickers as well for your Amazon barcodes. And this is the size you're going to want to get right here that I'm highlighting. So just be sure to order that ahead of time. Next is you want to get up to speed on your FBA fees, and you can reference the fee chart here at this link. There's going to be a lot of links throughout this PDF, so what I'm going to do is down in the comments, I'm going to include a link to our blog post and to our website. From there, you can go to the PDMG website and actually directly download this PDF or read the blog. And from there, once you do that, you'll be able to click into all of these links. So I would definitely recommend doing that. But for the FBA fees, reference this chart, note the size tier that your product falls under and what the fee is going to be. Just remember this fee is totally separate from the Amazon referral fee. This is your FBA fee. And then FBA also charges like a monthly storage fee. You can read about that here. And they charge for removal orders, returns, all based on product size tier. So just a good idea to get up to speed on this and know what you're getting into. Next, you're going to want to enroll for FBA New Selection, and you can click this link here to learn more. This is a program for first-time FBA sellers, and it provides a variety of benefits. One example is that you can get your first $100 waived on shipments to fulfillment centers if you use the Amazon Partner Carrier Program. Okay, so I think now we're ready to break down all the steps of sending in your first FBA shipment, LTL. A big part of this is going to be going through the shipment workflow in Amazon, but we're going to go through all the steps to get to that point as well. Okay, so step one is decide what products you would like to send FBA and the quantities that you want to send. I think a good place to start is with your bestsellers. And just keep in mind Amazon's inventory restock limits. So you might get limited on the amount that you can send. So I would just keep that in mind when you're deciding what quantities you want to send. And that's another good reason to kind of focus on the best sellers too, in case you do get limited on your inventory restock limits. And then just make sure you have the quantities that you want to send available to pack. Okay, so step two is I like to create a spreadsheet with all of the information that we're going to need, to note in the Amazon shipment workflow later, and just kind of all the pieces of the puzzle here. Okay, so the items that we're going to need to know are these, and we're going to want to do this for each product that we want to send. So whether you're just sending one, you're sending 5, you're sending 20, do this and set up the spreadsheet for every single product. Okay, so the product name, the SKU, and you might want to create a descriptive SKU if you haven't already, just so you know what it is. The ASIN. Okay, so the units to send, this is going to be how many sellable units do you want to ship Amazon FBA. So you want there to be 50, you want there to be 200, whatever it is, just note that number. The product weight is going to be how much the sellable unit weighs in its package. So that might be ounces, pounds, whatever's appropriate for your product, but how much the sellable unit weighs. And then the product size, that's going to be the dimensions of your sellable unit in its package. So height, length, and width in inches, feet, or whatever's appropriate for your product. Okay, so next is the case pack quantity right here. Okay, so your case pack quantity is the number of sellable units per case. And this is all dependent on how you pack your units. You can kind of decide how you want to do this. We'll talk about this later on, but you just have to remember that cases can't weigh over 50 pounds. So just kind of think about that when you're setting these up. But just note how many of these units to send that I'm highlighting right here, how many sellable units you want to put in each case pack in each box. Then once you do that, note the dimensions of each case, so the height, length, and width. And then the weight of each case. So this should be about the weight of your product multiplied by the case pack quantity. So we're just adding up the weights of all of the products in that case. And then we're going to add, a pound just to account for the box itself. Okay, then the next one is you want to know the number of cases. So this is the number of cases you're going to be sending for that product, just for that product. And the way you would calculate this would be the number of units to send from up here divided by your case pack quantity. Okay, so we're going to go through an example here really quickly. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the product, I just made this up. This is Emery's mug, and then I made up a SKU. That's Emery's mug FBA, so I know this is my FBA SKU, and it's 20 ounces. That's how much it weighs. The ASIN, and then the units I'm going to want to send for my mug are 50. I want to send 50 mugs into Amazon. So I've noted that, and then I've noted how much my mug in its package, so the sellable unit weighs. So I said it's 20 ounces or 1.25 pounds. And then the size is, I just made this up for an example, but I just said it's 5 by 5 by 5 inches. And then the way that I want to pack my cases is I want to do 10 per case. So my case pack quantity is 10 mugs in each case. And then the dimensions of that case are 20 by 20 by 20 inches. So let's calculate our case weight here. So we're saying that each product weighs about 1.25 pounds. So we're going to multiply that by the case pack quantity, which is 10. So we did that right here. And then we're adding a pound for the box. So we get about 13.5 pounds. And then the number of cases that we want to send. So this should be our total units that we're sending in, 50 divided by the case pack quantity, which is 10. So that's where we get the 5. And we're going to set this up for all of the products. Be sure to keep count of your total units for everything that you're sending in. You're going to want to confirm that number later in the shipment process. Okay, step 3, if you haven't already done this, convert your products to Fulfilled by Amazon in Seller Central. Step 4, go into the back end of each ASIN that you want to send FBA inventory for and input the product weight and the product size. So these sections that we talked about up here, the weight and the size, you want to put those in for each ASIN, and you only need to do this once for each product, as the size and weight will remain in the back end for the next time that you go to create a shipment. So you just have to do this for the first time. Okay, step 5, build your shipment at the warehouse, get all your master cases ready, put everything in boxes, get everything ready to go. But then step 6 is you're actually going to build your shipment in Amazon by going through the Amazon shipment workflow. And this is where we're going to be getting all of our labels and entering all of our information. And the way that you start this process is you select the products that you want to send FBA. So select the appropriate products under the Manage Inventory tab, then select the action of Send Replenish Inventory, and then you'll be taken over to the Amazon shipment workflow, and you'll be able to go through all these steps here. Okay, so step 1 of 5 of the shipment workflow is confirmed inventory to send. So first thing you're going to want to do, super easy, just put in your ship from address, so where it's going to be picked up, in the marketplace destination. And then here you're just going to fill in all of your product information, all of that information that we've already put into a spreadsheet up above. Okay, so the products that you've chosen to send for, they're going to populate on the left. And then for each product, this is the information that you're going to fill in. So for each product, first you start by filling in the packing details. So you're going to want to select individual units or case pack. Here we're doing a case pack, the orange. Okay, and so then we're going to fill in our packing details now that we've selected case pack. You want to name your packing template. You just want to name it something that's super easy to reference. I like to do the brand name, the product name, and the size. So Emery's mug 20 ounces. Then you're going to fill in the units per box. this translates to the case pack quantity, which would be 10 if we're referring to my example above. Box dimensions is the next thing we're going to fill in, and these are your case dimensions. So you can kind of interchange the word box and case here. 20 by 20 by 20, then we're going to fill in our box weight, which is our case weight, and then the prep. So is there like a specific prep that's involved for these units or no prep needed? You'll just want to check that there. And then fill in who labels the units. Is it the seller? In this case, yes. Okay, so now we're going to fill in the quantity to send now that we've done our packing details. Okay, so now this is where we're going to put in the number of cases that we're sending for the product, which we had noted above was 5. And then your units to send should auto-populate in. So then my 50 should just pop up right there. But of course, you want to make sure that this all matches up with your spreadsheet. So make sure that the units per box, number of boxes, aka cases, and units to send all match up with the original numbers from your spreadsheet. Okay, so once you have done this for each SKU, it's time to check all of the information at the bottom before you go to the next step. So confirm the number of SKUs you're sending inventory for. If you are doing 5 SKUs, it should say 5 SKUs at the bottom. Confirm the total units being sent to Amazon. In this case, we just have one product and we're sending 50 units, so it should say 50. But make sure that's correct for what you're doing. And then just checking this confirms that you've entered everything correctly. Okay, so now we can move on to printing our SKU labels. These are our Amazon barcodes that go on every single product. You're going to want to choose the standard printing format and then use the labels that we already talked about above. And you're going to get a label for every single sellable unit. So in this case, we would have 50 labels. And they need to be correctly affixed to each product. And you're going to get a SKU list. We're going to print this in the next step. But use the SKU list to match the barcode stickers up so that everything gets on the right product in the right spot. Okay, next step is 2 out of 5 of the shipment workflow, which is confirmed shipping. So this is just where you're going to select your shipping method, small parcel delivery or less than truckload. We're doing LTL here, but whichever is appropriate for you. Okay, you're going to confirm again your shipment contents, and now here you're going to print your packing list or your SKU list that I was just talking about up here. And the way to do this is when you're in this step, you can see there's a little button that says View or Edit Contents. Click it, and then click Print Pack List. This SKU list is a very important reference sheet, and this is what you're going to use to make sure all your labels match up correctly. So you'll see that FN SKU column that'll populate in, and that's what I was talking about above with matching up the barcode stickers. Okay, step 3 of 5, printing box labels. Okay, so now you're going to be printing the labels in the US letter format that we had talked about above, and these are the labels for each master case. And they need to be correctly attached to each case. And just be careful because these can get mixed up easily. Again, use your SKU list. And like we talked about before, you'll have ordered these stickers ahead of time. Okay, step 4 of the shipment workflow is confirm the carrier and your pallet information. So you're going to want to confirm the use of either an Amazon partnered carrier or a non-partnered carrier, whatever you choose, and the associated fees. Just keep this for your records. And then confirm your freight ready date as well. This is super important. This should be the earliest date that you can guarantee the shipment is ready to be picked up, that you've got it packed, everything's labeled, it's ready to go. And then if you're shipping on pallets, confirm that the pallet information is correct. Okay, 5 out of 5 of the shipment workflow is going to be printing the pallet labels. Okay, so if you're shipping on pallets, you'll have this step and you'll print your pallet labels, the same format US letter that we use for the master cases. So be sure to select the print format noted here. Each pallet should have 4 labels, and these need to be placed on the top corner of each pallet. And then you're going to print your bill of lading and save that for your records. Okay, step 7. Make sure that your shipment is ready to be picked up by the freight ready date. that you set in your shipment workflow. Now, you should have already built the shipment at your warehouse before you went through the workflow, but once you have gone through the workflow, you needed to print off all of these different labels, label them, make sure everything looks good. So you're going to want to do that by the freight ready date. Couple of quick tips here. If you need a lift gate, be sure to contact the carrier to request one, because not all carrier trucks have lift gates. Next tip is just think about what time your team is at the warehouse until on the day of scheduled pickup. You can always call the carrier to see what their estimated pickup time is set for, but just be aware you might have to stay late until the carrier shows up. So just be prepared. Okay, step 8 is once your shipment has been picked up, you can begin to track your shipment in Amazon as it makes its way to the warehouse. It'll make its way to the warehouse and then get checked in. Once it's checked in, Amazon will start receiving your units and you can begin selling. Your shipment will be closed once Amazon has received all the units for that shipment. And keep in mind, some of your units could be marked for FC transfer. They could get moved around to different fulfillment centers. This doesn't all happen overnight because Amazon may be shuffling some of your units around to get them closer to the customers. And you can watch all of this under the Manage FBA inventory page to see where units are for each product. And then the last thing you're going to do is just keep an eye on your sales and your stock to determine when to send in your next shipment. A couple of requirements just to note here. So if you're building pallets, you're going to want to follow all these requirements right here. Like, the pallet can't weigh more than 1,500 pounds, all these things. And there's a link right here if you want to read more. And then a reminder for shipping cartons stacked on pallets, which is like a box or a case with units inside. We already briefly talked about this, but they can exceed these measurements right here, and they can exceed 50 pounds. So just remember that. And then each box requires a label. So you just want to make sure to do your labels. And here are a bunch of links for labels right here. So shipment labels, pallet labels, barcode requirements. These are all really good reference points. Okay, so I think that about covers it. If you guys have any questions or comments, let us know down below, and thanks for watching.